Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I am your host, Brett McCollum, and I'm here today with Tamairo Moutry. And today we're going to be talking about creating investors. But before we do, at Investor Fuel, guys, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs to 5X their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and live the lives they've always dreamed of. Without further ado, Tamairo, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me to join your show.
Tamairo, I am honored and thrilled to be here with you. Like I said, we got to know each other, a little bit before the show, everything here, and genuinely excited to, get your story out there and talk about everything and, that. But before we do, I do want to give some context, some background, some history. Back us up a bit. Give us some context. Who is Tamairo?
I am a former elementary education teacher, born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I, again, came from the teaching arena, and I retired from corporate America at 32 years old. I'm the first self-made millionaire in my family. I retired with from 32 years old, but I retired with 50 doors of real estate. And I ended up owning a mortgage company back around that time.
Mm-hmm.
I got into real estate because I had a son who was misbehaving in school. And I had an older brother that was in prison at the time. He was the one who sparked my energy and fuel to get into the real estate profession. I did not know what I was doing at the time, but I researched and I found out.
Wow. All right, let's back up a bit, okay? So elementary school teacher, you did that for how long?
About 9 years, and because my son started misbehaving in school, I needed a flexible schedule, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
Okay, so you did that so it's funny, my wife is an elementary educator. She did that also for 9 years.
Wow.
Yep, and we decided, we have 4 kids, so we decided to bring our kids home in homeschool. My kids don't know how lucky and blessed they are that their mom is a professional educator, right? Someday they will. Right now they don't because they're too little to understand how blessed they are. But definitely get that. I mean, that teaching, I don't know, were you in the public school system? Were you in the private? Yeah. Yeah. So the public school, I don't know Wisconsin, but here in Florida, the public school system, it's an ever-changing landscape of you got to meet this new metric, that new metric. You got to even at an early age, in the elementary, it's like, man, I thought it was just like, and gosh, guys, if you're listening to this, I hope I don't offend you when I say this, but my mindset was, you're just teaching them the basics in elementary school, guys. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we creating these weird curriculums and stuff and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it was just a crazy time for us. But we did that about 3 or 4 years ago now. We brought the kids home, and but same thing, gives us the flexible schedule. So you mentioned your brother.
Yes.
and was it at were you visiting him at the time? Like, when did that conversation, or was it a series of conversations? Like, talk about kind of that time when that was going, those conversations about real estate.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, my brother actually just told me that that's what I should do, because I explained to him my issues that I was having with my son, and the school kept calling me in my classroom, and I didn't have a flexible schedule. And believe it or not, a lot of the winners come from the prisons. They just made a poor mistake, or they made a bad decision, and sometimes one bad decision can land them there. And I guess they speak amongst each other, and that's what he told me to do. He said, you need to get into real estate. And that only happened with one conversation. And I just took action. I did everything I could to learn about real estate. I became a real estate investor first. So that was my first and foremost. Then I became a loan originator. After that, I became a mortgage broker. After the mortgage broker, when the market crashed in 2008, I actually became a realtor. I had to close my company. I had to liquidate my 50-door real estate portfolio. And by the way, I started all the way over from scratch back in 2018 with being a buy and hold real estate investor again.
Wow.
And I did it actually with a lot of creative financing options at that time.
Yeah.
So from 2018 back to 2022 is actually when I built up my portfolio again to 41 doors. And I actually had not had a bank loan in 19, 20 years.
Isn't that incredible? Wow. That is. All right, we're gonna go back to that in a second too. Let's hold that thought for a second, because that's incredible.
Okay.
And we will be remiss to not go into that. Okay.
Okay.
So I have, if you listen to the podcast a little bit, you've probably heard me say this once or twice, that the three most successful people that I find in real estate routinely on a consistent basis, and this is going to probably surprise you a little bit. The first two maybe won't surprise you as much, but the first one is they're ex-military. You see that a lot. Ex-athletes, you see that quite a bit. You know what the third one is?
Ex-offender.
They've been to prison.
Wow.
And it's interesting because, like, most people aren't thinking of that, and they're like, but what the common theme that I've found is there's discipline amongst all three.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's just funny to me that, like, directly, indirectly, that's the same story from your side. All right. And I say indirectly because it wasn't you that was in prison, but your brother who is in around people that may, and I love the fact that, all right, I'm going to go here for a second. And something's telling me to go here, and I'm just going to do it. So it's really easy because we have family members as well that, in prison, that sort of thing. And it's really easy to look at the mistakes they may have made or not and just dismiss what they say. Because, like, how do I trust this person now that they're in jail?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, that's a very easy thing for people to do. And I have to commend you on the fact that, like, that's not what happened here. It's like, dude, you're in jail. Why are you telling me what to do? Right?
Well, you know what, Brett? Let me say this. Not to interrupt you, but let me say this. You can learn something from everybody.
Yes.
I don't care what walk of life that they are. You can learn something from any and everybody. It doesn't mean anything if they are on the streets and they are homeless. It doesn't mean if they have 10 degrees. It doesn't matter if they're just a regular W-2 worker, which I was a W-2 worker for the majority of my life. I just didn't know. And with everything that I've learned from me doing the research, getting in the right rooms with the right people, doing the right things.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Is the reason why I am where I am today. And that one conversation from him made me research and find what it is that I needed to do. And I worked my way out of that real estate, out of that elementary education system. And
Yeah.
I have so many titles behind my name because of that one conversation. So I kind of owe a little bit of it to him, but he needs to work on doing this stuff himself. Haha. But at the same time, not saying that I would have never done it, but I didn't have this idea at first. And after we get a chance to get back into it, I want to talk about what I did to acquire all of those doors.
Yeah, and I love that. Yeah, that's I just love the fact that you have an open mind and an open heart to receive, right? And I think that's probably a large degree of where your success has come from, is I'm not too high and mighty to learn. I'm not too proud that, what, you're here and I'm not. I just wanted to commend you for, being able to, receive even from that situation. And we, I want to highlight that. It's a really special thing. But all right. So you go through the '08 crisis, everything goes to hell in a handbasket. We know that whole story. That's kind of, everybody knows that whole '08 stuff, but liquidating 50 plus 51 or 50 doors, whatever it is. Talk about that time for me and what that was like, liquidating assets you'd worked so hard to acquire.
I didn't want to let go of anything at the time, but I was one of the last of the Mohicans because I had perfected my credit at that time. And I'm like, wait a minute. My credit is flawless. If I just let go, then my credit's going to go to crap and everything. So I held on to those properties much longer than a lot of my counterparts did. A lot of people, they kind of threw in the towel right away. And I kind of waited, like, I want to say maybe at least 2 or 3 more years after that happened before I actually started letting go of the properties. And at that point in time, I didn't give up on real estate. I wanted to continue on. So that was the time where I continued to be a landlord, and I just kind of took advantage of the market myself. I actually, I had a lot of money saved. So I started doing more buying and flipping at the time, and I purchased a condo in Florida. What I did, because I'm a risk taker, so I went to a foreclosure website and I kind of clicked a button on a place that I had never heard of, had never been there a day in my life, and it was $28,750. It was a 3-2 condo in Fort Myers, Florida. So that's how I ended up back on that end. No friends, no family, no nothing. And then me and my husband said, "Girl, are you crazy?" I said, "Yeah." And so we went down and flew down, closed on it, and look, the rest is history.
Yeah, to have I guess where you're hitting at is like the hanging on sometimes thing of like not wanting to let go of things too, because this will bring us to a current time and climate too. When I say this, there's a lot of correlation right now with 2000, and not the same, but there's some similarities in maybe today's market stuff. But holding on to stuff longer than you should, the lessons we may have learned through that, right? Now, did you come out on top? It sounds like it, but it also meant you had to rebuild at some point.
So
what was that like?
Yeah, so what I did is I just let the properties go. I mean, sometimes you have to listen. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. So I wish I had, in hindsight, I wish I had done it sooner, but it really didn't hurt me. And the reason I say that is because
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I didn't need to use my credit because I went on a hiatus for like 10 years. And I started using my cash to buy and flip. And I continued to help other real estate investors to come into the market. I taught them how to buy and flip. We managed their portfolios for them because that's part of what I have: 4 real estate companies in 4 different states. And I help investors to build their real estate portfolios. I help them to acquire the real estate with the
Yeah.
funding. I have my own private lending company where I help investors to fund their properties. I also have the 50 state lending with Texana Bank, where I help the first timers, help investors. So I've transformed since then. And I
Yeah.
think that whatever happened to me, I wouldn't change a thing because it made me more conscious about ways that I can do things. And at this point, for those 10 years, I continued to think about how I was going to move forward. And I, again, started buying and flipping. And by the time 2022 came back, I was back up to 41 doors. And I did not even use any bank financing to do it. I used different investment strategies to get back to that 41 doors. And I just recently, after 19, 20 years, got my first mortgage again. And it was not in my name. I did it in my LLC with a DSCR loan, which I offer to all of my other investors. And I have a one-stop shop concierge service for all of my other investors that I help, again, with the funding, the management, the acquisition, since I'm a broker in all of those 4 states: Georgia, Florida, Wisconsin, and Illinois. I haven't been doing much in Illinois, but Georgia, Florida, Wisconsin, those are my main 3. But again, lending everywhere, helping the real estate investors, and just moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that, and the sentiment that comes to mind when you were saying that is, it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. Do you think a lot of that was kind of going through that kind of what led you to kind of what your current place in the marketplace is? Do you think like going through that 2008 crash and going through those, it like you said, it kind of led you to do more things. Is that right?
I think it actually just kind of made me see that there are more ways to get funding and more ways to do things other than relying on the bank, because there was a time when the bank tightened up and they weren't able to fund any more deals back in 2008. And what it made me do is really just become more creative at doing different strategies to get real estate transactions to the table without their money.
Right.
It's OPM or whatever, but to be honest, I was just really strategic in what I did moving forward from 2018 to 2022.
Yeah. Well, talk to me like, so currently you just got your first mortgage in place. What does the future for you look like? What are you looking to do next?
Well, it's what I've been doing and what I'm continuing to do. Real estate magazine, podcasts. I've been on a ton of podcasts. I'm into new construction. During all of this time, I went down to Florida and I bought some land. So I'm looking to do some new construction, bring investors in to do that, work with more affordable housing. I'm getting into the group home space. I have a multitude of different Facebook groups, and I've started a clothing and merchandise line for one of my real estate groups, Top Women in Real Estate. So I have jackets, I have backpacks, I have keychains. I'm doing that. I do a lot of coaching, mentoring, and training, teaching ladies how to invest. I just got back from Paris speaking on real estate investing. I'm doing a bunch of speaking engagements. People are booking me on podcasts, booking me to go to different countries. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about the things that are coming. I have a real estate school. I'm a real estate instructor in the state of Wisconsin. So again, this teaching profession that I've been in actually
Yep.
catapulted me to be able to teach others how to invest in real estate, how to build their real estate portfolios, how to maintain those, and to also for new people and new real estate investors, how to teach them how to build wealth in real estate, how to take that one property and turn it into many.
I love that. Let me ask you this. You have a unique space and that you operate in different markets throughout the country, right?
Yes.
So we know that there's a lot of things in the last couple of years that have shifted in real estate, like rates, insurance, taxes, everything's going, and albeit it's not the '08 recession, but there's still some crazy stuff going on. And I think when we look back on this market like we do the 2008, we're going to be like, wow, that was a wild time. Um, what are you telling, let's say that it's the first time investor, they're just getting into the game and you're giving them, obviously we know a lot of the main benefits of investing in real estate. We know what a flip can do. We know what some buy and hold can do. But what would you recommend from a protection side of it for the first time investor? Because you're seeing it across different markets. How are you, yes, it's risky, but what are you saying for people like, hey, it's risky, but this is how you mitigate risk? What would you give that advice to?
I'm telling a lot of my investors to not be afraid to get into the group home market. And what I mean when I say that is there's unlicensed and licensed group homes.
Uh-huh.
What I'm telling people is don't be afraid to rent out the rooms in their homes because you can realize a lot more benefit as well as a lot more cash flow doing things like that. There's different populations, such as the elderly population, the reentry population, the veteran population, people who are on Social Security that don't have enough income for them to be able to move into a home themselves, and you can have two people to a room, and that is a way that you can actually bring in a lot more cash flow from the home rather than just renting to one or two tenants. Like if you have a duplex and you have an upper and a lower, one tenant up, one tenant down, that if you have three bedrooms in each unit, that's 6 bedrooms. If you could put two people to each room, that's 12 people. That's 12 incomes coming in from that one house. I met up with a guy in November who's doing this in Milwaukee, my hometown. And he walked me through his whole operation. He showed me how he does the fingerprint locks and everything and how he had everything situated. He said his cash flow on that house is like 5 grand after
Yeah.
all expenses and everything. 5 grand off of one house, and he runs 5 houses.
Yeah. Yeah. So more just kind of, because I mean that tracks, because right now with an economic climate where everything's more expensive and wages haven't necessarily increased, how are
Exactly.
we making affordable, like we still have I think our job as the investor market is to continue to create affordability for people, right?
Exactly.
Uh, but that's also a challenge, right? Because it's not like you can just go out and get construction. You're building new construction. You know this. Uh, Build a new construction home with that you can sell at the below median home sales price right now. It's hard to do, isn't it? Because of the
Yes.
construction cost. So it's really difficult in that way. But what you're talking about is renting more doors out and creates more affordability for people in an economic climate that's difficult. I think that tracks a lot, and that's good advice. Yeah.
The
Um,
other thing I wanted to bring up is making sure that investors still understand that the other way to go instead of doing the new construction piece with all this tariff stuff going on is maybe they take these dilapidated properties, fix them up, and sell them to people who are lower income and that can actually buy those properties from them. The profit margin is still going to be there if you buy them in the right area at the right prices. You can still renovate those and sell them to lower income people, or you can work with HUD to be able to get these properties Section 8 approved
yeah.
and do some affordable housing things. I think that that's the other way that people should go.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. What we continue to coach and things on our side of things is If you're going to flip houses right now, it's not that you can't sell the higher end product. You can. I mean, it just depends on the market, I guess. But for consistency's sake, target your after repaired value, your ARV price, target it at the median sales price or below ARV. And then you buy it well below that part, obviously, so that when you rehab and fix it up, you can sell it. Because we're still seeing, like you said, the FHA qualified buyer it's their first time home, that sort of thing. That market's still pretty strong. People still want, and you know this from 2008, Tamairo. What happens when affordability, let's say rates are now higher, insurance, taxes, the whole thing, right? So my market where I live, the median home sales price is roughly $350,000, give or take. Okay. That means the person that was affordably, so you also know this from a mortgage background too, they were pre-approved, in a market where there's 3 and 4% rates, they were pre-approved for $500,000, let's say. And so that's their target. But now in today's climate, that 3 or 400K or that 500K is now probably that 350K number, right?
That's true.
So we're getting people that are up in this buyer bracket buying down into 350, and we're getting those people that are in the lower bracket buying up to. So now we're doubling our opportunity from a buyer's pool. So that's something I still believe in as a investor. Curious, do you think that tracks with what you saw from 08 to present? Like, does that kind of do those correlations exist, do you think?
It's really not the same. You could say it's a little similar. The difference between what's happening right now and 08 is the riskier lending practices back then, they don't correlate to now.
Right.
I know that there are a lot of people saying that a lot of people are running scared right now due to the interest rates. I'm going to call them brainwashed right now because they couldn't think that an interest rate was going to stay in the 2s and 3s. What goes down must come up and what goes up must come down. And, real estate is in cycles. It doesn't always stay the same, but there are some people that keep saying they're going to wait until the interest rates drop in the 3s. And I'll never forget that Facebook meme up where they had a skeleton leaning back like this, saying the buyer is waiting for the interest rates to drop back into the 3s. It probably won't ever happen. I'm still telling everybody to pull the trigger, but like you said, making sure that they buy the properties with the ARV being in the right position, making sure that you purchase with the right number. And also for the investors that are buying and the properties don't move quick enough, they need to have a plan B.
Yes.
I didn't have a plan B when I started. It was only plan A because I never wanted to go back to corporate America ever again. Yeah. But people who can make a plan B at this time, who are already investors, what they should be doing is, if they're trying to sell a property that won't move, the next best thing for them to do is to go ahead and refinance out of it. Do a DSCR loan to get them out of it, because a lot of times they use hard money to buy the property. They need to go ahead and refinance out of it and do what I said. They can also do a rent to own, at least option, with a buyer who may be moving to the area or they may not quite have the credit score. There's so many different strategies and ways for people to acquire real estate now. And for the investors, if they get themselves in a jam, they can get a huge down payment on it, a pricier down payment for the person that's coming in that want to purchase, or they can keep the property after they've gotten their cash back from the DSCR loan. They can take that money. Now it's a cushion for them, and they can go ahead and use the group home model that I was speaking of.
Yeah. And I like that, having multiple exit strategies. And I think
exactly.
I think a lot of the people that I've talked to that's come out of the 08 recession and things like that and are now in today's market, a lot of, you included obviously here, are screaming that from the rooftops. Have multiple exit strategies.
Exactly.
Why do you know that? Because you went through it, and that's what I meant earlier to kind of dovetail that back is it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. Because now guess what? You now have you're not walking in this with through the same lens. You're having opportunity. You're looking for opportunities in multiple ways. On every deal has multiple opportunity.
Yeah. It's a totally different mindset.
Yeah. I love that you said that, and it just shows the wisdom that you can get from going through hard and difficult things, right?
Yeah.
I think there's wisdom there. Tamairo, if people want to reach out and they do want to connect with you, get to know you further, that sort of thing, how could they do that? What's the best way?
I am mostly on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm also on finally TikTok. I'm late to the party, but I'm there on
Yeah.
TikTok. But any of those methods, they can reach out to me there. Like I said, I'm helping investors to do any and everything. I do a bunch of portfolios, packages. I do have stuff for sale. I have those dilapidated properties that people may want to delve into and maybe create a project. I do have a 10 property package deal right now that I'm trying to get rid of. So people may want to reach out to me about that. If they have cash and they want to buy it and they want to fix it up and they want to sell it to lower income borrowers, there's still a benefit there for them to do that or to hold them and keep them since they're single families. So there's a multitude of things that people can do with this. I'm on all of those platforms. They can DM me, and I'll be happy to talk with just about anybody, even with the funding piece. I'm
Yeah.
able to help first timers, second timers, downsizers, investors, just whatever. I'm willing to help.
I love that. And that speaks to your heart, and I appreciate that. And guys, sincerely, we'll make sure we have that from your bio, Tamairo. We'll make sure we get that in the show notes for everybody to reach out and connect. And sincerely, guys, I encourage you to do that. Tamairo, your wealth of knowledge, and I can just sense it from our conversation. You're a giver, and you want to help people, and that speaks to your success and how you've been able to bounce back the way you've done. And but yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, I knew this was going to be a great show. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you very much. And you do have my telephone number, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just let everybody know on the back end that I have a team of successful people that will help them to renovate these properties. My husband is a large part of this, and he
Yeah.
pulls together those strings for the management and the
I love
rehab and all tenant complaints and everything. Okay?
Fantastic. Yeah, guys, sincerely, I strongly encourage you to reach out to Tamairo. Get to know her and her family, and you won't be sorry you did. But Tamairo, again, thanks for being here. Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Thanks for having me. Take care.
All right, and guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you, and we'll see each of you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.